Welcome back to the Hogsty, everyone. We're just a month away from the preseason right now, so we're starting to feel like Daenerys Targaryen ready to wage a bloody war of vengeance across Westeros. I hope you are too. We'll be right back. Stick here, right on the Hogsty.
Welcome to the Hogsty with your crew, Adam Taraski, Alex Zeese, Sean Conti, and Steve Thomas. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
Hey everybody, Sean here. Glad to be back with you on a beautiful yet brutally hot Saturday. The crew is all here. Mr. Steve Thomas, how you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing all right. I'm so happy football's about to come in, and I love the Game of Thrones, reference there in the intro. That was pretty nice. We went through week one opening. What'd you guys think of the first episode?
I love the opening scene.
Dude.
Like that shit was memorable.
So sick. It was so awesome. This could suck up our entire episode right now on my end. I don't know about you guys, but I can talk about it all day. But it was great. It was awesome.
I think at the end of the show, someone needs to go and do a body count for each character that survives and just see, because Arya probably jumped up 5 spots right there.
Yes.
I don't think
She's
you
up
can
there.
even count Daenerys' body count. I mean, she's burned, a ship. She burned a whole ship full of people alive, and
She burned cities.
Yeah,
So
that's
Arya's
true. I
probably
mean,
in second
maybe,
or third.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jon
Maybe
Snow's
you
killed a hell of a lot of
have
Wyatts.
personal
He might
body
be
count
second.
versus military body count. You know what I mean?
Well, Jon Snow, Steve, is the one who's been killed the most, yet continues to live. So that's he doesn't kill the most people, but he's been killed the most.
Yeah.
And come back.
he
So.
definitely has been killed the most, that's for sure.
Right.
That counts for something. Well, we are starting to feel like I said, we're starting to feel like Jon Snow back from the dead here on the Hogsty, getting close to football time. We've got some awesome, exciting announcements to make right up front here, so let's just do that right now. So, big news, probably the biggest thing, guys. We're going to training camp.
Hey,
Yes.
yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Redskins.
Thank you, Redskins. So basically
Right.
what that means, you listeners at home, is we will be a presence at Redskins Park during training camp. Jamal, you want to talk a little bit more to that?
Yeah, sure, man. So you'll catch us specifically the first week in the training camp coming up. I'll be down there covering for the Hogsty. I'll be sure to try and get some interviews with some good some good people in some competition. Try to see where their heads at early on in training camp. I'll try to see what you guys are thinking. See if I can answer them. Pay attention to the camp battles, the position battles on the field. I'm excited. When I found out we got accepted, I shot Alex and Sean and Steve all a message telling them I'm gonna draft up our game plan next weekend. So I'm looking forward
Right.
to it, and I'm ready to get to work. So I know Alex is too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going at the tail end because I've got, unfortunately, some personal family stuff I got to deal with every other weekend until the last weekend of camp. But
Right.
I'll
Right.
be doing the closing weekend, which I think is actually FanFest. I keep on
No,
mistaking.
FanFest is the 5th and the 6th.
Oh, good. I'm missing FanFest because I hated
You're
going to
thinking
FanFest.
Well,
of
and-
Harvest Fest.
And we will do our best to try to get down there for some more days. We're still trying to work that out and see if that's
Sure.
possible.
Right.
But the bottom line is we're going to be credentialed media at training camp. We're very excited. So we're going to be the guys that are in your way when you're watching from the fan section. We will be the ones standing there and prohibiting you from being able to see the field, and that makes us
And
feel good.
I might just go up to Rick Snyder and be like, "Hey, Rick, hey, Rick, Rick Snyder."
Do it. So basically what that means, folks, is follow Alex on Twitter, follow Jamal on Twitter, follow the Hogsty on Twitter,
Yeah.
and make sure you're checking back because we have some hard-hitting investigative journalism going on coming up for training camp. Right, guys?
Definitely,
Right.
man.
Absolutely.
Some work.
I don't know about investigative, but hard hitting.
It's some kind of journalism.
We're going to shoot for an exclusive sit-down with Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen.
Yeah.
Maybe
there
I'll
you go.
bring
That's
my
what I was
We're not
book
gonna
by
shoot, we're
George
gonna
Allen and see if
demand
I
it.
can get Bruce to sign it again.
There you go. We're going to demand it. We're not going to walk away until
We're only here for
Dan
2
and Bruce
days.
sit
We need
down
to
with
speak
us.
to both of them right now.
I like it. Hey, something entertainment worthy is going to come out of that situation, so I'm all for it.
Right.
All right, so that's not our only announcement, though, right, guys? We have something else
Yeah,
as
one
well.
more.
Yep.
So why don't you take us through this one, Steve?
Okay. we have a very exciting announcement for the Redskins fandom. Pete Taylor, who is the father of the late great Sean Taylor and the co-author of the Sean Taylor biography, Mr. Steve Rosenberg, who was a guest on our show about a year ago, they will be making a public appearance at training camp on the 5th, all day on the 5th, and most of the day on the 6th, which is Sunday, to sign autographs for the public. They're going to have full color copies of their book there available for purchase. So if you love Sean Taylor, like I can speak for all of us on this show, we all love Sean. If you want to meet his dad and meet his biographer, please come out and say hello to him. Because Pete doesn't make a whole lot of appearances in DC, and so it's maybe your only shot in a while to actually say hi to Pete.
Right,
Yeah.
and Steve is a great guy
to
too.
Yeah, Steve Rosenberg. Yeah, both good guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you to both of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we will make more announcements about that on Twitter and everything and put something up on the website probably as well, just so you guys remember. But that is our announcements for the day before we get into the episode, so let's do it. We had some news on the Kirk Cousins front this week, guys.
Shockingly enough,
we had some news. We had some developments. So I know he appeared on Grant and Danny, and I know Alex is obsessed with Grant and Danny. So, Alex, we all know what happened?
Right.
Maybe you can tell us, walk us through kind of what happened on the show.
Well,
what he said.
I mean, anyone who's a Skins fan, I think we all know this. Kirk has gone on Grant and Danny's show for the last 3+ seasons every week because they have a contract with him, a long-term contract to, come up on their show at least. He went on for about an hour to kind of talk about the whole situation with why they didn't seem to get a contract done this year.
Right.
And in the way that we were all critical of Bruce last weekend, with how he kind of mishandled the situation, Kirk really did the opposite. He was very positive, didn't seem to want to throw anybody under the bus for the contract not happening, seemed to indicate that he doesn't think this means that it's a fait accompli at this point where he's going to leave next year. He said something along the lines of, hey, if I play here for 10 years on one-year deals, I'm fine with that.
Right, and who wouldn't be,
right.
frankly?
Here's the thing that the common thread I seem to see from fan reactions to what he said is Kurt was playing a different game than Bruce and Dan. They were playing Monopoly. He was playing the game of life, where he's looking at this as it's not for him about necessarily just the money. It's about who's going to be on the team. He kept on emphasizing this over and over. I need to see that this new roster is going to work well together. I need to see that the coaching staff is going to work well together. He needs to see if the front office will work together, which, given what we saw this offseason, those are very fair questions for him to have.
Sure.
And I almost wonder if all the change... Well,
why don't you buy, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Alex. I thought you were done. I stepped all over.
No, it's all right.
I don't buy any of it for a minute. It's garbage. Money talks. This is all about money. Kirk is a very classy guy. He always takes the high road, to his credit. But I don't believe for a minute that if the Redskins hadn't made the right offer, he wouldn't be signed. I think that's just his way of sort of taking the high road. You guys got to remember that the Redskins didn't really ever make an offer that was in the range of acceptable. And so, Kirk, it's easy for Kirk to come on and say all the right things. We maybe, who knows what's going to happen. It's not about the money with me. It's easy to say it's not about the money when the money wasn't presented to you. So I applaud Kirk for being classy about it. I applaud him for taking the high road. I applaud him for not getting upset when Bruce Allen slammed him inappropriately in the statement. But
right. Well, and he did talk about that. Apparently, Bruce Allen told him that was going to happen before it happened, according to Kirk.
So what?
Well, I mean,
my answer is so what? It doesn't make any difference to me.
Sure it does. Steve, if I told you, hey, I'm going to drop a couple F-bombs on the Hogsty Twitter account just for no reason, it's totally different from me just doing it. But
the point is, though, that Bruce might have told him we're going to make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is Bruce Allen slammed him and slammed Kirk in that statement.
Sure.
Now, I don't. To me, it doesn't make a heck of a lot of difference if Bruce told him I'm going to release a statement ahead of time. It still says what it says, you know. So to me, it made no difference.
I'm sorry. Is this the statement? Is this the statement that he made that said we never got an offer from Kirk's team this year? Okay,
yeah, when
so
he kept
that's the
saying
same
Kurt,
statement.
Kurt. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So
Well, he's always been bad about that Kurt thing.
Well, yeah,
That's
and
an
he
issue.
got ripped
I'm
apart
sorry.
by ESPN for it now.
What's that,
It is
Jamal?
an
That's
issue.
the issue. Because me speaking
It
from
is.
personal experience, as you guys know, Alex and Steve, my name has a U in it, and
Right.
it's always it's literally like to this day, I had to confront a person at work like 3 or 4 times. Well, first of all, 3 or 4, well, probably about 10 times honestly through email, just to let them know. First of all, my name is spelled in my email, and they still spell it Jamal, and I had to correct them like 10 times. Then I had to go to them twice in person, like, stop spelling my name wrong. So
See, it's just
exactly,
insulting.
and that's my point.
Yeah.
It's
So
insulting.
when it comes to Kirk to say he's used to it, I'm sorry. If somebody's telling me, if somebody's calling me Kurt, and my name is Kirk, I'm going to be pissed off because that is just blatant disrespect to me, bro. Because I didn't say it. I didn't
Learn
told
his
you like 2 or
fucking
3
name,
times.
Bruce.
Stop spelling my name wrong. Stop saying it. Stop saying it wrong if I'm Kurt. But obviously, Bruce Allen keeps saying that. It's a problem, honestly, and I don't care what. I don't believe anything. He may brush it off in the media, but trust me, that's a
Kirk
problem.
could
Right.
just start.
Anybody that spells
Kirk
anybody's
should just
name
start
wrong.
calling him like Bruno or something. Bruno Allen
Bryce.
or something.
I totally agree with Jamal, and yeah, my name has been butchered over the years. People spell it with a PH on a consistent basis, but to me, when you're a team president, you're a senior executive, and you're used to speaking, in the media to the press, and you're doing a press conference for the purpose of tainting the public's perception of your star franchise quarterback, and you call him by the wrong name. I mean, it may not be intentional on Bruce's part, but it
I
definitely
wouldn't be surprised if it was.
maybe.
well-
Given the stuff we've learned about Bruce Allen this offseason, it wouldn't surprise me. I tend to think it was a mistake, but it's inexcusable.
Make a concerted
Absolutely
effort
inexcusable.
to fix the issue. I can't imagine
Right.
if
And
he
it's
had.
not like the guy's name is Samaje.
No,
this
no.
is Kurt, for God's
Exactly.
sakes,
Well, and the other thing about it that's hilarious, and this came out after there was some fallout this week in ESPN, is they were saying, "Oh no, it's because of Bruce's accent. Bruce is from
What
here.
accent?
What
Yeah,
accent?
what accent?
He's from Virginia, people. He doesn't have an accent.
Right. He grew
Oh,
up in
he's
Northern
got that.
Virginia and California. What
Even
accent?
if he did have an accent, again, this is Kirk, Kirk.
Right.
It's
Right.
not that. I don't care where you're from. You can pronounce Kirk, okay?
Now, I will
That's
say,
ridiculous.
I have a friend named Kurt, like Kurt, and once when we had just finished recording this show, and we were talking about Kirk Cousins, I went out with him for lunch and for a couple beers, and the first
He
3
was
times
Kirk
I said
all night.
Kirk, and I was like, sorry,
Yeah.
I've been doing the show.
But here's
Well, see,
the
that's
point.
Right.
that's acceptable because it's an honest mistake, and you know that
I admitted it.
exactly, and
Yeah.
you're going to fix it. So
Right.
And you're not speaking to the national media.
And I
either.
was drunk. So if Bruce Allen wants
but
to use the I was drunk excuse all the time, he can.
Well, and that may be a valid excuse for him from what we hear. But back to the main point here. To me, I'm not sure the interview really said. I don't think Kirk really gave his true opinions. I think if you gave Kirk truth serum, it would have come out totally different. I think that was just him trying to say the right things, which he did to his credit.
Yeah, and
That's
he always
what I
does.
took out of it.
Well,
He always
so-
does.
I'm sorry. So, Steve, can you remind me what you said your contract for Kirk Cousins was? What was the guaranteed money on your contract?
It was 5 years, 130 million was the total, and then the
How much
guaranteed
guaranteed?
signing was 58 million. Because the
58.
point was that 53 was the transition tag plus this year's franchise tag, and so you had to go over that. So I gave him 5 extra million, and then my original contract guaranteed, I think it was 72 total, but I said they're probably going to have to guarantee the third year as of the first day of the league year, which would have bumped it up to about 87 million, I think. So what I was really predicting was 58 million guaranteed, 87 guaranteed overall.
So,
Which is
So in this statement they made, Steve, that's very similar, it sounds like, to what they said they made an offer to him in May was, right? They said 53 guaranteed, 72 million guaranteed for injury in a deal that would have been the second highest paid player by average per year in NFL history. So that's not too far off.
Well, it actually is far off because, number one, they were proposing a 6-year contract. They were proposing franchise tag year and adding 6. My contract was 5 years, number one. Number two, the 53, I gave him $5 million above and beyond what he was already going to be guaranteed. That's what 58 represents. 53 is literally represents exactly what he's going to get anyway. And then the 72 million for injury's sake, my guarantees were fully guaranteed. You know, the 70. It's important to note that 72 for injury just means the only way it's guaranteed is if you don't break your ankle.
Right.
You know, if you break your ankle. So it's a massive difference in the type of guarantee that it is. What they had proposed basically amounted to a 5-year extension, a 5-year $110 million extension, you know, which mine was up to 5 years, 130.
Right.
So you think that they are significantly underpaying? In your opinion,
Absolutely.
This would be that is okay. So
I
that's
mean,
just not
you're basically talking about comparing them. They're adding a year and not adding a year's worth of money. That's a big. Think about your own salary. What that would be like.
Well, it's kind of but we're talking about.
Well, my average annual value was up to
multi-millions. It's a different question.
My average annual value was at $26 million, though. I mean, their average annual value was much less than it was like 22, which was not ever going to be. It was never going to be enough. Even before the Derek Carr contract, it was never going to be enough.
Right.
Poor Kirk, only 22. He's going to die poor and
my
fundamental
problem with my fundamental problem with the statement was that those numbers that Bruce put out, he put it out for the express purpose of making the public believe that the Redskins were being overly generous. And if you hadn't studied this stuff like I have, and you're just reading it and you're kind of an average fan, you think, well, geez, they were being really generous. In reality, they weren't. They were under market. And that was my problem with it.
Yeah.
And I applaud Kirk for not going on Grant Danny and ranting and raving about it. It says a lot for who he is as a person that he was able to do that.
Yep.
True story. All right, well, good for you, Kirk. It's definitely disappointing that this situation is a saga that never ends. Doesn't seem like we're heading towards a resolution that's going to make us fans happy, but we'll keep covering it and keep following every development in the story, folks. So, hopefully we have some good news sometime. Let's move on from that to talking a little bit more about the team. So we are going to move into special teams as a position group breakdown today, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Special teams. Sure am.
All right. So let's jump on into this hodgepodge of Franken players we call Redskins special teams.
The most undervalued aspect of football.
That's right.
Yeah, it's one of the 3 pillars.
Like people forget you got to win on three faces, not just 2 or 1.
Yeah. I thought we'd start with a kicking game for this. You know, we've got Dustin Hopkins, we've got Tress Way.
The Duster.
Let's talk a little bit. Yeah, let's talk a little. The Duster, who a friend of the show, Dustin Hopkins. He did our show. What, a year? Was it a year ago?
2 years ago, I
so.
think now.
Was it 2 years ago?
Oh,
it was right before they got in the playoffs. 15, right?
Oh, that actually sounds right.
Maybe. Yeah. We've been doing this show a long time at this point. Anyway, Dustin Hopkins. See, Dustin
I don't know
Hopkins.
why. I fucking hate you guys.
That makes me feel bad. It hurts my delicate ego. Okay. Anyway, Dustin Hopkins. Dustin Hopkins, since he's been here since 2015, as on a whole, he is 59 for 70 in field goal attempts. And then he is 54-59 under 50 yards. You know, now Kai Forbath, just as an example, made 15 of 15 kicks last year, 2016. I think it's safe to say that, and Kai, when he was here, had a really high field goal percentage.
Right.
I think it's safe to say that Kai has, on a career, been a little bit more accurate than Dustin Hopkins. But that having been said, if the majority of the field goals Dustin's missed have been over 50 yards. He's only 5 for 11 over 50 yards. He is 38 of 40. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. He's 1923. He is 40 of 42 under 40 yards. He's only missed 2 under 40 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He's 84% overall. If he's 59 over 70, he's about 84%.
And the reason we went years ago from Kai Forbath to Hopkins was entirely about that. I mean, Forbath, like
Yeah.
you said, very accurate, but we couldn't trust him outside of 45 yards.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Well, and I'm
have-
going to get to this.
Yeah, he wasn't a power leg.
Couldn't
Yeah.
hit the end zone in kickoffs.
Right. His
Now-
kickoffs usually landed at the 10-yard line.
Now, for 2016, it was not. 2016 was not the best year for Dustin. He was only
No.
23rd in the NFL in
terms of accuracy?
field goal percentage. He was only 23rd. 2015 he was much higher. He was at 89%. He was 9th in the NFL. So I did a little search, and I did a search for every kicker who had attempted over 20 attempts from 2015 and 2016 put together.
This is how
And-
you would spend your free time, Steve.
It literally is. And so in that respect, he came out 20th. For combined accuracy from 2015 to 2016, 84.3%. Now, you say, gee, Steve, that may not sound very good. Why don't we bring competition in? Well, let me tell you. This is what Alex's ultimate was getting at before. Kai Forbath never could kick the ball in the end zone on kickoffs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Dustin Hopkins, as it turns out, can. He, in
Not only-
2016...
I was going to say, not only can he do that, he kicks it through the field goal uprights on kickoffs.
We ought to get points for that, by the
Yeah,
way.
I agree. I agree
Well,
completely on that.
You remember, Snyder
point.
proposed this to the competition
Yeah.
committee, a change in rules where if you kick it through the field goals, instead of a touchback coming to the 25, it goes to the 20. Like,
No, I want a point.
Yeah.
I want points.
I don't know if points will ever happen. I like that idea though of at least you get
yeah,
something.
I like that too. I like that too.
I
actually.
think compensation in field, I guess like moving them back a little bit with
Field position.
Field position, my bad.
Yeah.
Field position might be a little bit more beneficial. Because I think about it, if you can get in
Cool
between
idea.
the posts every single kickoff, extra points. That's a lot of points that adds up to the total.
Yeah, it is.
It'd be turn into a kicking game.
Again, yeah.
What I was getting at,
Yeah.
though, was that Dustin had 70.6% touchbacks in 2016, which was number 4 in the NFL.
Yep.
So he's
There you go.
really, and he was number 10 at it in the NFL in 2015. Kai Forbath, on the other hand, in 2014 was 27th in the NFL at that. So that is the big benefit with Dustin Hopkins, and that is why he is still here. When he's maybe a touch less accurate than Forbath, he's got a much better leg. So that's,
Yep.
that's the point.
And no competition from in camp, which surprised some people given the kind of downward year he had. But I get
right.
the
This is why
feeling
it's the
that this
touchbacks.
team really likes Hopkins, Gruden, and the coaching staff. So, I think they're going to let him work it out this year, see if he can bounce back.
I agree that I think that
I
they
mean,
like
it's-
him, but I don't. First of all, I don't think it's over in terms of bringing a kicker in. They can always bring in a camp body just to challenge him, push him forward. Camp is next week, but it's just they can still do it. However, the way it's looking right now, like I don't understand why you wouldn't bring in competition. Like it doesn't seem like it's just off perception. It looks like they're really just really cool with having Dustin, but Dustin made some. He missed some very for a professional kicker. He missed some very simple kicks for him to make, very easy kicks for him to make last year. And that was
Sure.
the problem.
I mean, he only missed 2 under 40 yards.
I mean,
Right, one was the
and
big
he
one
only
in
missed
London.
He only missed 4 under 50.
I mean, but
Yeah,
those 4 is
he
still
cost that
they're
game in
still
London.
Big, they're still
That's
big
right.
kicks though. Like the one in London, you missed one in Detroit, I believe, and then the ones later against Dallas. You missed one in Dallas. I don't know if
Well-
you missed 1 or 2, but you missed one in Dallas for sure, at least one.
I mean, I went through the numbers myself, Steve, at one point this week. And one thing that stood out to me about Hopkins is outside of that one kick in London, which was in overtime, he is 100% in the second half of games. He is not. He doesn't miss kicks in the third and fourth
It's a
quarter.
good stat. It's a good one.
Which is very interesting to me. That means that I think it might be he's not prepping right in the first half. I don't know. Not getting his head into the game early enough, but
Who knows?
that could be part of it. Kicking is such a psychological game, and I think that might be why they don't want to bring in competition too early. Is let him get his head right first, because if you bring in somebody else, then that could totally mess with his psyche. And
Well,
you
I
know,
think Jay really likes the touchback thing too. But I think people need to give him a little bit of a break on that London game too, because the Cincinnati kicker missed a big kick. We all thought at the time. I think we all thought at the time when we reviewed that game on the show that there was something wrong with the field.
right.
You know, so I'm not sure it's. Yes, he missed a kick. Bad on him, but I'm not sure that there wasn't a reason for that, considering what was happening.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that
too, so.
playing in London, like multiple kickers have had trouble over there.
Right.
Well, they say that about our home base too.
Yeah.
That's because our field is painted dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Hey, by the way, I forgot. Where is Cobra Kai these days?
Cobra Kai last year was with Minnesota, but he
Okay.
was only active for 7 games. And then Blair Walsh kicked 9, so I think they cut him. If I
Okay.
recall.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I forgot.
I miss
Either that or
Cobra
either
Kai
he
just
came
for the
in
name.
halfway. Either they brought him in halfway through the season, or they cut him. One or the other.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Tress Way.
Yep.
Punter, Tress Way. Tress has been with us for 3 seasons now. He's never missed a game. He's 6'1", 215 pounds. Tress is another pretty good punter. He has a big contract too. He's got a big 4-year contract. That having been said, 2016 was a little bit of an off year. He was ranked 21st in yards per punt at 45.1.
Is that adjusted or not adjusted?
This is Pro Football Reference's stat, and they
Okay.
actually don't say whether it's adjusted or not adjusted. I take this to mean that this is net.
Okay.
That's what I take it to mean, but they didn't specifically say it in their stats. But if it wasn't net, I think it'd be a lot farther than that. So
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering,
I think
too.
it's net. Yeah, I think it's net. So it wasn't a particularly great year for Tress. 2015 was better. He was at 46.1 yards per punt in 2015. That was 12th in the NFL. And then 2014, he was awesome. He was the second best punter in the NFL at 47.5 yards per punt, which is good for 2. And again, because I'm who I am, I ran another data search, and combined all the punters for the past 3 years, and Truss comes out 10th
Okay.
from 2014 to 2016. So he's the top 10 punter.
Excuse me.
He's a top 10 punter. He may have had a little bit of an off year in 2016, but he's a top 10 punter and he has a big contract, and so that's why you don't see competition for Tress Way. So.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that for him.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the key to punting, and because I am also equally nerdy about this stuff, I was rereading the George Allen's Guide to Special Teams book that I have just to prep today, and one of the things he talked about with actually it has to do with his son Bruce Allen when he was a punter. He said you can't just look at that net or anything. You really have to look at average starting position more than anything else. It's a lot of teams don't even, or not teams. A lot of websites don't even keep that statistic. Like on punts, where are the guys ending up? Are they behind the 20 most of the time, which is great? Are they, within the 20 to the 30 yard line most of the time? Or are they midfield, which also says something about your offense,
Right.
That's a big factor in the whole punting situation. Because, by the way,
And if we
apparently
had, like,
Bruce was a great punter.
No, he's a great punter right now. He just punts issues way into the future every time. He's awesome.
I mean, it must be said also that, the greatest punter in the world is not going to be a very good punter stats-wise if your punt coverage stinks.
Right.
If you have
Right.
the 2013 Redskins punt coverage,
Right.
you're going to look bad no matter how good you are.
Right.
You could
Very
be George
fair.
Blanda. You could be George Blanda and look bad.
Yeah, Ray Guy could not have helped
be
our
very
punt
good.
team. Well, he might have, because
Guy- I was
he
just
could
about to
kick
say,
it out
he
of bounds
might
like
have.
nobody's business.
That fool had a cannon.
I don't know. I think Ray, we
Poor
got.
leg.
I think we would have got Ray Guy cut personally that year.
That's tough and true.
So that's Tress. Way.
Yeah, no issues there for me.
Yeah,
No.
I don't have
don't
any
either.
issues with Tress either.
And Tress is signed through 2020. By the way, he's got a 5-year deal.
Jesus,
I mean,
Tress.
yeah. So I mean, I don't think Tress is going anywhere anytime soon. Personally.
Well,
So.
do you remember it wasn't long ago, like you only have to go back to Shanahan's era where we were rotating punters pretty rapidly for a little while. Because we kept on getting
I
these
do
guys
kinda
who were like
remember that.
38,
We were dealing
39.
with Sav Rocca, I think.
Yeah.
Sav Rocca.
Sav
that's who
Rocca
he
was probably one of the more
rugby guy.
consistent ones we
I
had
say
in
it's
that
crazy
period.
because his first year
Yeah,
or
he
two
was.
was pretty good, but
Mm-hmm.
he got fat,
Or we
couldn't
could
run,
Yeah,
and
he
we
was
couldn't.
40,
I
man. You
was
get
just about to
fat when you
say,
hit
and the
40
fact that we had
sometimes.
bad kick coverage or punt coverage is the fact that we seen him. We had to see him run often. So
Right. Remember
So it was
how often
bad.
he would tackle people?
But he used to lay the wood. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
He used to bring
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah,
That's
he
the
did.
one
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. We don't see that
knows how
from
to hit
Tress
people.
because I don't think he has to do it.
Don't need to.
You know,
Yeah.
And I think the reason why, and because I did some research too, and I think I emailed this to you, we have good gunners now, and that helps a lot. You know, the two guys who've been the gunners last year were Everett and Dunbar. Everett had that big play in Philly, which was probably the special teams play of the year for us, where he just knocked Darren Sproles out.
Everett
Oh,
was
yeah.
bringing the lumber.
Yeah.
He
last
almost
year.
killed
Yeah.
Sproles.
Yeah.
The whole stadium erupted when that happened.
Yeah,
That
and
was an
Philly's
accident.
still butthurt about it. Like they were like calling for him to be suspended for like a month. If
Yeah,
you
it
remember.
Pretty ironic that fans that throw batteries at Santa Claus are going to get mad when there's a legal hit on the field.
Yeah. And
that's
Dunbar was on the far side. He was solid the entire year. I don't know offhand. I didn't look up the stats. I don't think we let up a single punt return for a touchdown, did we?
We did,
If we did,
but
it
it
was
was
only
called
one.
back.
I don't remember.
It was actually the game that Darren Sproles got knocked out. He house won, but it was a holding on Philly. So
Right.
Nice memory, Jamal. That's why we pay you the fake big
yeah,
bucks.
hell yeah, I'm getting
We're
money
not
over
actually
here.
paying him much anything.
Yeah, right. it's the more that monopoly money that Bruce and Dan want to pay
I'm
people.
still gonna flaunt it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Everett and Dunbar are both still on this team, both still on the special teams roster.
And you
right?
got to assume if they make the roster, they're going to be your favorites to be in those gunner spots again.
Yep.
Yeah, I would
as well as
imagine.
blocking on punt returns.
So the whole squad last year was ranked pretty middle of the pack, right? Not exactly blowing everyone away,
Yeah, I
but
think
definitely
they were in
not
the
also at the bottom.
15.
Well, I have that. You
yeah.
want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give it to us from last year. Yeah.
Going into the last game of the season, because I did not do a season recap, but going into the Giants game, they were ranked 14th in kick return defense and 14th in punt return defense. And I don't think it changed very much just
No.
based on that Giants game.
No,
So
probably not.
They're they were middle of the road in terms of coverage defense on both kicking and punting.
Right.
So what needs to change for us to get into like a top tier special teams coverage team? Like what's the biggest thing that we're missing? Because we have the kicks, we've got the power now, so it's got to be that coverage. It's got to be.
I mean, I'll go through the names of the guys who are on those units, and you tell me. I'll tell you who was on it last year, and you tell me where you think we could upgrade. So obviously we got Everett and Dunbar, like I mentioned. The guys who were playing the wing, it looked like, were Mason Foster and Derek Carrier. Houston Bates was the punt protector. Your interior guys, other than that, we had Terrence Garvin, Trent Murphy, Preston Smith, Marshall Spate. Chris Thompson was doing some stuff on offense on the inside of the line. Niles Paul, Greg Toller, and Will Blackman were all, participating. So, a couple of those guys are gone, Toller and Garvin. Maybe you replace one of them with a speedy guy like Brown who's in here now.
Okay.
Somebody like that, he could make a difference.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when it comes to special teams, and football period, but when it comes to special teams, speed is a big factor. So, if you're able to, for instance, like Quentin Dunbar, he was like his rookie year, he was jamming in terms of, I think, return coverage. He was jamming people at the line. That's why he ended up, staying
he was
at
dragging
corner.
them to the ground.
Yeah, so it all, and he's also a fast athlete. Like he's fast as a player. So my point is, when it comes to coverage, comes to anything like on special teams, especially when it comes to coverage, kickoff and punt, you just need that speed, but you also need somebody who's capable of getting off the jam because they're going to be jamming you. You got two people on one gunner, so you're going to need that speed, and you're also going to need speed at the line too. Who can big guys who can also run like a 4.5, 4.6, not a 4.7.
This is why you see a lot of linebackers. This is why you see a lot of linebackers
Right.
doing it.
Linebackers
instead
and
of
tight ends are
defensive
always the
linemen.
favorite because they have both
Yeah.
size and speed.
running
you don't.
backs.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that. Did any of you guys watch Carrier on special teams? Is he a big contributor on special teams?
Nah. Well, last year he didn't
I
really
don't-
get that much burn. I don't even think he played. He may play like one or
didn't take
two
that many
games, I
snaps
think.
for him?
But his first year,
Yeah, he
I don't
didn't
even
play
remember.
much
He
last
played
year.
2015, but I don't remember him on special teams, honestly.
Well, remember last year he was out on it was either the short-term IR or the PUP list. He was out the first
Yeah,
half of
he's
the
gonna-
season.
Right,
play.
right.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think he replaced Niles Paul midseason this season too, because I went back and watched some. It's hard to find special teams film, but what I could find, Paul was in there in the earlier parts of the season, and then Carrier seems to replaced him as that wing guy. I mean, I don't know if he really has that speed that you need. He's definitely a
That's
gritty
what I'm kinda wondering.
Oh,
player.
Carrier's fast.
And
Yeah.
He
yeah.
got the speed.
Is
Yeah,
he
got
fast?
the speed.
okay, well,
Like a
I mean,
4.4,
you say
effort.
speed is what you need. I think on top of that, you also need to be able to be a guy who can, one, get hurt and keep going, and have that kind of like
Yeah.
football gritty mentality. So I worry about guys like him who've been hurt a lot, losing that.
True.
Yeah.
Though he's going into his third year. If
Yeah.
any year for him to improve would probably be this one.
Yeah,
I mean, look, it's tough for us to sit here and predict who's going to make the special teams coverage units.
Sure,
It's
of course.
way too hard. We can't really realistically do that for you. But I think Alex has made some good points. We've got good gunners. You do need to have speed. We do have some of these lower draft picks that have speed.
Yeah.
The corner and the corner and the safety we drafted in the 6th and 7th round. Harvey Clemens and somebody help me out. Who was the other one?
Oh,
we
well,
drafted.
Talking about Hosley?
Pardon me.
Hosley?
Yeah, him,
Holsley.
Holsley.
Yeah.
Holsley has, he has speed. Both those guys have speed, and
Well-
so
And
Yeah.
I'll say Harvey Clemens is also being listed as a linebacker, isn't he? Now,
Yeah.
Yes.
so maybe
Yeah.
they're doing that with that intent of him
Well,
replacing
yeah.
Toller or somebody.
maybe. I mean, Harvey Clemens is tall and big. That's why they have him listed as
Yeah,
a
like
Yeah.
linebacker.
6'4".
So we'll see what happens. It's tough to predict. A lot of times the special teams are just guys that they want to keep around, and they have to find a role for them if they're going to make the 45,
Right.
in particular. So it's tough to see. It's tough to predict. We were middle of the pack last year. I mean, I think special teams coverage is one area that you can make a huge jump or a huge nosedive in a year. So
It's true. Yeah. If
yeah,
you don't
we'll
have
just have
those
to see.
core guys like we had way back with Lorenzo Alexander, you need to have 5 core guys who are just you want them because of their special teams ability. So
Well, and that was supposed to be Niles Paul, and Niles has been
Yeah,
hurt.
he was
for a
doing well
while.
before that injury.
yeah, he's been
Yeah,
hurt
he
the last
was.
2 years,
He was.
really.
Okay, kick and punt returns. Jameson Crowder was our punt returner. He returned 27 punts, averaged 12.1 yards per punt. Overall, our on punt returns, we were actually second in the NFL going into the last game of the season. He did have the one big, long 85-yard touchdown. My question for you guys on Jameson really is, since Jameson is scheduled to play a much bigger role in the passing game this year, because of the loss of Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon, is Jameson going to continue to be the punt returner? I think that's the big open question in my head.
I think that is the $1,000 question on special teams. You're right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I would say I would probably only use him in special circumstances, kind of like we did with Jackson, but successfully. But yeah, I think you need to kind of be looking for somebody else to take it every down, because what's the point of Crowder getting hurt on a punt return and having to miss maybe a series on offense right after?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that sometimes you don't need your star guys, because he's shaping up to be in a premier role with this offense. It's kind of hard to expect him to go out there and be the punt returner, the main punt returner. However, I think it just depends on how they feel about him in terms of what he's capable of doing, in terms of his motor. They want him fresh. And they want him more productive on one side of the ball and not special teams. Then I'd see them keeping Crowder as a just primarily a receiver and using him in special circumstances. And that's fine as well. But I think the issue with this punt return, and we got to remember this too, prior to 2016, 2015 was an issue in the punt return game, even with Crowder. It was a headache. It was like watching Antoine Randall Elliott. It was that bad.
Crowder was terrible. Crowder was
He was-
terrible.
He was terrible, and he was.
I remember
ahead.
it It was before your time on the show, Jamal, but I think every single week I was railing on and on about how horrible he was, and how I wish they would replace him. He really turned it around in 2016.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when it comes to Jameson, like, he was known for that at Duke. Like, he was a hell of a punt returner at Duke, return man, period. It's just the fact that he clearly looked uncomfortable and had some issues in 2015. But the point is, we got to remember that it wasn't all this great before 2016. Like, we had issues at that thing. So it just depends on how they really feel about Crowder. And who they think is confident. Who are they confident in to replace Crowder at that position is the one thing in terms of punt return.
Yeah, and let's just be clear. Also, I don't think Crowder is an elite touchdown threat at this. He's a good punt returner. He's consistent at it. He did have the one long return, but I don't think this guy is Tyreek Hill, for example.
No.
He's not at that level. He's good. I don't think he's great. I think they can replace him. We've got some other guys who's done return work. Will Blackman has speed and has returned kicks. Quentin Dunbar has returned a couple for us. There's a couple of these wide receivers at the back end of the roster, have some speed. So I think they have options. And like you guys said, my opinion about the Jamison Crowder thing is I don't think you really want to take a chance on getting him hurt. So if it were me, I would see if they can come close to replicating his production through somebody else.
You said he had 12 yards per average, and that's really, anytime you're picking up an extra first down on your punt return average, that's a great sign. Like, it doesn't really get better than that. Some guys maybe have 14, but you really just want to pick up 10 yards plus if you can on average. I don't know if we have a guy who can do that outside of him, because Dunbar, I think, had, one or two last year? He had a few.
Yeah.
And he'd be
Dunbar
my favorite. I don't necessarily want to trust Will Blackman because of his age. I don't trust him necessarily to be on the roster. I think they're trying to go younger.
I do got one person in mind.
Go ahead.
That? No. Who's that?
Oh, no, I was going to say, I got one person in mind, and that's for both actually kickoff and punt, is Keith Marshall. And that's basically simply because the way he actually played. He was a return man in college, I believe, for a good while.
Was he?
I think he was a kick returner.
I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, go ahead and double check. Because I thought he was a kick returner in college as well. So, but either way, like the way he plays, he's like the straight line speed that I told you that. Well, I wrote it in the running back column, the position group breakdown. He has like his straight line speed is elite. And if you can get him an open field like that, it's beneficial to him, and it's beneficial to the team for him to be able to contribute on special teams, which we need. So,
you know what though, it's elite speed is certainly a big benefit, but to me, being at least a competent punt returner is about vision more than it's about speed.
Oh no, yeah.
Like we had Rock Cartwright, for example, doing kick returns for a bunch of years. Rock wasn't fast.
No.
He was basically a fullback, but he had great vision, and he got north and south really fast.
He ran over the first person a lot of times, which helped.
Yeah, and so, Keith has the physical tools to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he has the experience in seeing the holes on punt returns and whatnot. Certainly, who was, ironically enough, who was just ahead of Jamison Crowder on the yards per punt return list was one other than Andre Roberts. Andre Roberts averaged 12.3 yards per punt return last year. Just
I'm not even surprised.
Enough.
He did that in Arizona.
Yeah, he was good at it. And I mentioned Tyreek Hill, earlier because he was way better than everybody else last year. He averaged over 15 yards per punt return. That was the best in the NFL for those who returned over 15 punts last year.
Yeah, so. and 15 is impressive any year. Yeah, and looking it up, it doesn't look like at least Pro Football Focus or not, Pro Football Statistics. Those people, they call their website something different from College Stats. They don't have him. Yeah.
It's called Sports Reference.
Thank you.
Is the name of the college?
But it's the exact same website.
Okay.
They don't seem to have Marshall as a returner in college, but
I thought he was. I might be thinking of because I did see him as a return man. I thought it was at college. It may have been last year in preseason. I don't know, but I did see it.
I mean,
but-
look,
Yeah.
they'd be fools not to try him.
Yeah, of course.
You know, with his level of athleticism, they'd be fools not to try him.
And I totally agree
know,
with you
who
guys
knows?
there.
Yeah.
I think a good reason for that is, and I'm sure you're going to get to this next, Steve, is that Chris Thompson was a really decent kick returner for us, and he's a
Funny you say
similarly
that.
athletic running back.
Yeah. Funny you say that. Chris Thompson averaged 21.2 yards per kickoff return, had 17 returns, and before anybody asks, the 17 means those are the ones that were not touchbacks in the end zone. Those are the ones that he actually ran back. And that was... we were 19th in the NFL last year on kickoff returns for that. So he's good. He didn't break any for a touchdown.
No.
I don't think he's anything special at it. You know, he has the athletic ability, but like I said, it's all about vision. You know, he didn't wow me. You know, they can do better. You know, if somebody besides Chris Thompson returns kicks, it was not the end of the world. I mean, Niles Paul used to do it. You know, Will Blackman has experience at it. Will Blackman returned a few last year. Maurice Harris returned a couple last year. So they have some other guys. And so if it were me, the kickoff return thing, I would throw it open to an open competition if it were me.
Well, I think it's a forgotten thing at this point because of the new rules they've kept on imposing on kickoffs to, you know, kind of ruin that part of the game. You know, moving it up, making it so it comes out of the 25, all those little changes they've made. Kick returns almost an irrelevant aspect of the game now because really you're almost better off always taking the knee at this point. If you can, take the knee in the end zone and just come out to the 25.
Depends on how good your kick returner is. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
How often, though,
It
did
just
we see
depends.
guys taking it out of the back of the end zone last year and they'd get up to like the 15?
well, think about this. I mean, your point is valid. I mean, Chris Thompson averaged 21.2 yards per kickoff return. If he takes the ball 3 yards in the end zone, that means he's inside the 20 every time
Right.
consistently.
No points in
So-
doing it, right? I mean,
Exactly. No point in doing that.
Yeah, and
Not that.
yeah. I mean, because if you're not even getting past the 20, you're already starting 5 yards behind where you could be if you get to the 20.
One thing I think it's safe to say on this is if we've got, the next reincarnation of, I don't know, Mike Nelms on this team, we don't know about it yet. Maybe
Right.
somebody will show up that'll be that good.
Let's
And
go with
for
the more
those of you
recent
who are-
reference like Randall L.
Okay. Well, I think we can do better than Antoine Randall L.
Well, those years he was with Pittsburgh, he was really good at it.
Okay. Redskin fans do not have a positive memory of Antoine Randall L when it comes to kickoff returns. I think you would. I think it's more often you'd see him running east to west rather than north to south
Sure.
on these kickoff returns. But my point is, fine. Pick a Darryl Green. Okay, we don't have Darryl Green
There we
back
go.
there. So I think we can do better. Chris Thompson's okay. He's middle of the pack. I have nothing against Chris Thompson, but if we can do better, we should.
I think the
Agreed.
real point is because of where the team's going on the starting roster. Both spots really should be open to competition because Thompson and
Yes.
Crowder both deserve a lot more playing time with the starters, and you don't want to see them
You
get
guys,
hurt.
you want to guess? Can anybody guess as to who was tops in the NFL last year in kickoff return as per yards per return? Anybody want to take a stab at it? You really probably should get
Review?
this. No.
Was it the guy with L.A., the Rams?
Come on, Tavon Austin.
He was up there.
Yeah.
No.
No?
I mean, Benny Cunningham
Oh, yeah,
with the
Benny
Rams
Cunningham.
was actually up there. Yeah, but he's number one. Sean, do you have a guess? Do you have anyone want to take a stab? No?
No.
Okay.
Just go for it.
Cordarrelle Patterson was the
the-
lead. Was the leader.
Oh,
in the
okay.
clubhouse. That's why I kind of thought you guys maybe would get it. It was because it's Cordarrelle Patterson. Over 31 yards per kickoff return. So if you have him,
Sure.
Wait, is he
You
still
want
with
him-
He
Minnesota?
went to the Raiders.
He went to
yeah,
the Raiders?
this was last year. But yeah, if you have Cordarrelle Patterson back there, him you want return the ball every time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have Chris Thompson, you probably want to take a knee.
Yeah. If you can.
If you can. Right, there you go. So, And even Andre Roberts wasn't too bad at it. I say he's on the list. But Chris was 20th in the NFL if you rank it by yards per return last year. So if anybody's wondering where he ranked 20th.
Yeah.
The top 5 real fast: Cordero Patterson, Marquise Lee, Jordan Todman, who was with Indianapolis, Alex Erickson with Cincinnati, and then Benny Cunningham with the Rams. Those are your top 5 last year. So,
right.
I don't know how much we can flog with special teams any more than we've already flogged it. I think it's an open question as to how good, as to whether we're going to be good, bad, elite, or awful. I think is always an open question, especially when it comes to the Redskins.
Well,
I'm going to predict a slight improvement that will be ranked somewhere around 10 in the league rather than 15 or whatever that we were before. I think we'll be improved.
I think
All right.
it really depends on filling a couple holes on that interior in terms of improving our coverage unit. Like I said, Garvin and Toller are gone. I think you could upgrade someone like Will Blackman to somebody younger and faster. But in terms of the return game, that's going to be the bigger question mark because unless you're willing to trot Trouter out and risk a starter getting hurt in special teams, which most teams don't want to do.
Right.
I just don't see an obvious answer right now. That's going to be something to kind of look for in camp.
First of all, I don't know if Crowder's a starter. I mean, he's going to be the slot guy, which, depending on the formation, may not be a starter. But
He's
I'm being too nerdy about it.
Frequent
Jeez,
contributor.
nitpick a little more, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he should be out there for 80% of our offensive snaps.
Yeah, I'm
That I
expecting
agree with.
Yeah.
I'm
That I
expecting to
agree
see
with
him
that. Yeah.
most of the time.
So it's a crapshoot. It
Yeah,
always
it really is.
Remember who was the coach we had who was talking about his was it Kotwicka? You remember Kotwicka?
Kotwicka,
We were
yeah.
talking about Kotwicka's special forces and all that, and it
Yeah,
turns
yeah.
out they were terrible.
Yep.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
they were
the
they
really
were like
special forces?
They were like the Somali special forces, not the U.S. special forces.
Right.
No, just special spelled wrong.
Yeah. So Jamal, do you have any final thoughts on special teams, or have you already said what you're going to say?
Just to recap,
We're predicting slight
oh
improvement.
yeah, I think it'll. Well, I can't predict a slight improvement. It may stay the same. If anything, because like I said, Alex brought it up as well. Jamison Crowder may be, he may have a limited role in special teams now because of his increased role on offense. And that's one thing that was beneficial for us in terms of special teams was the fact that we were able to gain a lot of field position via the punt return. So it's all interesting to see like how everything unfolds in training camp and preseason. Something I may have to look at if we are able to see special team practices while we're down there. But
You will.
yeah.
They practice it every
Oh,
time.
all right. 'Cause I thought they had
yeah.
schedules for special teams practice, but I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we'll see it. So we'll know who they have out there as far as competition and things like that. So maybe stay the same, but I expect them to make a concerted effort in terms of getting the best person out there. So we'll see.
All right.
There you go. You heard it here first. We had a special teams related poll this week, right, Steve?
Yeah, it was sort of special teams related. The poll question this week was, the Redskins had only one non-offensive touchdown in 2016, which was the aforementioned 85-yard Jamison Crowder punt return. So the question is, how many non-offensive touchdowns will they have in 2017?
Non-offensive.
Yeah. So the choices being 0, 1 to 3, 4 to 6, or over 6. Now, I'll just say before you guys answer, this includes interceptions for a touchdown,
Right.
fumbles, pick sixes, fumbles, kickoff returns, and punt returns.
Right.
So-
Which I'm surprised we didn't have a single defensive touchdown last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
didn't.
surprises
The only
the
one-
shit
yeah.
out of me. Wow.
Crowder was the only non-offensive touchdown we had. So what do we think? Let's
wonder
start
we were
with
8-7-1.
Alex this time. Alex, what do you think?
I think we improve a little bit. Let's say we go. I think we're going to get 2 or 3. What would that put me in?
It was the 2 to 3 would be in the 1 to 3 category.
Okay, so I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna guess that the Redskins fans were more homerish and went one up from that.
I literally was thinking
So,
the same
For
thing.
yeah,
All right. Well, Jamal, just go ahead and give us your thought process on this.
I picked 1 to 3 again because for those who think I'm cheaters, I did not see the final results. So
Yes, you did.
I didn't see the final results. So I thought that they probably went 4 to 6 or 4 plus. Period. I think they went 4 plus. Anything higher.
All right.
I am
Sean?
I'm going to be a homer too. I'm going to say 4 to 6. Now, I know that that's probably wishful thinking. My rational mind tells me to agree with you guys, but totally new defense? Come on. I think we can do it. We got it in us. We got some new safeties. Let's do it. 4 to 6. I'm going to go for it. Fingers crossed.
All right. I
What
agree.
What do
with-
people say?
Well, first of all, the people voted by a vote of 69%. They were in the 1 to 3
Oh
category.
wow.
oh wow,
So so it wasn't a
Nice.
homer vote. They were fairly pessimistic about it.
People are learning.
The 4 to 6 category was in second place with 20%. 7% of you out there, the pessimistic 7% voted for 0.
Douchebags.
And then the very, very positive 4% voted for over 6. So the Redskin voting public at large was mainly in the 1 to 3 category. This wasn't one of our more popular polls, but it's the dead of summer still. Fine. If I had voted, which I did not, as always, I would have voted in the 4 to 6 category. And the reason is that Josh Norman by himself dropped 4 or 5 interceptions, that he should have caught last year.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Steve.
And we got a little unlucky with the interceptions this year. I think they're going to get a couple pick sixes on the season. I think Jordan, I think we're good for at least 1 punt return, for a touchdown. So I think they're going to do better and eke.
I think so.
Eke over the line
regardless
at
who
about
does
4,
it. Yeah.
So. Yeah, and I think Josh Norman by himself is going to have a couple. So. Because he just can't drop that many balls again this year.
I mean to go in your favor. I don't think, and this is just, I guess I was a little pessimistic now that I think about it. I'm going 1 to 3. But at the same time, you got to, like, in 2013, I think we had like 5 or 6 non-offensive touchdowns, and that defense was nowhere near as competent as this one is on paper.
Good point.
I do think it's not necessarily in terms of who you are on defense in terms of the talent, but more so do you got the playmakers. And we had playmakers in 2012 and 2013. We still had playmakers on the defense. They just weren't good enough to, like, literally line up against you and just stop you the entire game. Like 2012.
And I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, 2012 we were number one. We were number 1 defense at forcing turnovers. That's how good we were in 2012.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and that defense was terrible.
Exactly.
Actually,
It was
if you
terrible.
look at the roster.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Okay, well, let's read a couple comments here. First one I'm going to read is from Scott Burns, who is at Triad Scott. He says, I voted 4 to 6. I think Crowder will run back 2. And Norman, Breland, Craven, Swearinger can get 2 or 3 between them. I read that first, because that's kind of what my line of thinking is. I just can't imagine the cornerbacks aren't going to run a couple of them in. Kyle Sanders, who is at Kyle Scout Team, says, 1 non-offensive TD is so bad they couldn't possibly do it again. I think 2 special teams and 3 defensive TDs is realistic. And then we've got a guy named Chris America, who is Chris Scout Team. So I don't know if those 2 guys are related or what. But he says, my boy Jano, meaning Josh Norman, needs to step it up and earn that paycheck he left Carolina for. Wholeheartedly agree with you, Chris, or whatever your real name is. So those are a few comments on this year. And one guy, by the way,
reasonable comments.
one of the pessimistic 7% spoke up. Actually, the man with the golden mic, who is Max Scout Team. So I don't know again if these guys all related or what. He just says I voted 0.
We got a lot of scout teams here.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of scout teams.
Thanks for that comment, dude. That's awesome. Okay.
And they all their little pictures look like they're all from different ethnic backgrounds. So if they're brothers, it's some kind of like, very, very diverse
Modern family.
Well, they could be from the secret
modern-
order of the scout teams.
That could be
yes.
that maybe.
The secret
So,
fraternal
anyway,
order of
that's the
Scouts.
poll. That is the poll this week.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, Do we have anything left on the agenda? Do we want to talk about this column that we all read over this past week?
Well, it's
I think there's only one person we know who has to do this food thing.
well, yeah.
We've got a major food
I
fan
don't, I
here.
don't even, I don't get as excited about food at FedEx Field as I do other stadiums because FedEx Field's food has just been so terrible in the last 20
I don't
years.
get excited for food at stadiums because they cost too damn much.
Yeah, period.
Well, it does cost.
There you go. I'm
See,
with Jamal.
I mean, I agree it costs too much, but when I go to a sporting event, I just assume I'm getting screwed by the prices.
So you're okay with it.
You know,
It's already in your head that you just got to pay out the pocket.
Right, exactly. I pay and I move on. So
Just
I
accept you have to
respect
pay $20
Yeah.
for a hot dog made of Russian dog meat,
yeah,
basically.
delicious fresh Russian dog meat.
Yeah, the
It's the
best
best
quality
hot dog
Russian
ever
dog
ate.
meat in the world.
Well, why don't we start with a new
Dog
hot
being the
dog that
operative
they got
word.
going on? Actually, they got 2 new hot dogs that they're going to have at the stadium.
Hey-o.
One is at, I don't remember what stand, I didn't write this down, but they're going to have what they're calling a taco hot dog at the stadium, which is a hot dog topped with taco meat and taco, fixins. So
No, don't they already? Isn't that just like
it's like a
Chili
chili
dog.
dog with less
yeah,
chili.
chili dog?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just ground meat on a hot dog. This is someone trying to get fancy, thinking they're inventing some new thing, and they're just giving it a new name. It's a classic, time-honored snack,
Right.
and they're going to call it a taco dog instead
Right.
of a freaking chili dog.
Well, and I
Come
agree with
on.
you there. And then there's another one that they got at they're opening an Asian rice bowl stand. I don't know. It's
Okay.
going to have bulgogi and Asian nachos, and then they're going to have a hot dog topped with kimchi and wasabi and a bunch of other Asian flavors.
That
The
just
hell
sounds
is
gross.
Asian
That's
nachos?
Now,
bizarre.
Yeah.
Alex tried to explain to me what before we went on the air what bulgogi beef is, and I still don't think I understand it.
It's
I don't know if I
just
wanna
shredded beef
understand
that's
it.
like teriyaki and Asian flavored. It's delicious.
Oh, okay.
I would eat that on a hot
Reds-
dog. I don't like kimchi. I've got Korean family, and they've made real kimchi for me. It makes me want to tear my jaw out. It's so spicy. I'm not a kimchi
But you have
fan.
to eat it because they're family.
Hmm?
I said, but you have to eat it and be polite because they're family.
Right.
Eat your kimchi.
The Redskins, this is actually a bigger deal, the Redskins, than we're making it out to be. They actually put a press release out about this. The Redskins PR did.
Mm-hmm.
They had something called the 2017 Taste of FedEx Field. They brought a bunch of local vendors
Taste of
in for
FedEx
this.
Field.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the Taste of DC thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that's, town of the
Every
year.
town does a taste of our town.
So this is like the Redskins, ghettoed up version of the Taste of DC, I guess.
Right.
Taste of
They
FedEx
taste our hot
Field.
dog.
Yeah.
Just does not
It
sound
tastes like
appealing.
green
Sorry.
dirt.
They listed a bunch of 10 or 15 local vendors. I haven't heard of any of them, so I'm not going to read the whole list.
Right,
But,
right.
Look, I mean, I've made my feelings abundantly clear. I'm totally with Jamal. Just give me a hot dog. That's
Yeah.
all I
Yeah, I go there and
and
get the
I-
chicken
hot
tenders
dog.
from Green Turtle.
There you
Yeah,
go.
when it comes to
Hot
food, I
something.
actually generally agree. Unless you're going to have something that impresses me, like when they used to have Five Guys and now they replaced
Oh,
it with
they had
Shake
Five
Shack
Guys?
at Nationals Park.
Oh. Nothing. I heard
I
Five Guys.
love
got
getting
Happy
Five
Meal.
Guys at Nats Park. Get me like a
Yeah.
Jamal perked up
Yeah, yeah.
when you heard Five Guys.
yeah, yeah. Nats Park used to have Five Guys and they replaced it with Shake Shack, which was a terrible move in my opinion. But Yeah.
Are they just? Is this just like a random thing they're doing for fun? Did we get like slammed in a newspaper or something for having shitty, overpriced food?
I think
Or,
the-
like, what-
FedEx Field has been slammed in the media for years
For the
over
food.
Yeah.
Anything.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Over
It-
traffic,
Yeah.
atmosphere, food,
location. Yeah, I
location.
get that. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah,
I
they-
get it. But
yeah, all right. So one more food thing I want to read off because it sounds disgusting to me. It's a smoked pork wing tossed in bourbon barbecue glaze. I don't know what a pork
I was
wing
just
is.
about to say that. I've never
Yeah.
heard of a pork wing. Like, I didn't know they were birds.
Yeah,
I didn't know pigs
eat-
could fly.
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say I'll eat a pork wing when pigs can fly. But
Because that tells me that they don't know what the type of meat actually is, and then we're getting back to the Russian Russian
Yeah, yeah. I
dog
mean, is
situation.
it
Right
you
back
being
to
cute
Russia.
like with buffalo wings, but we all know that's chicken? Like I don't know.
right, yeah. So it's pork wings with something.
You
said?
bourbon barbecue glaze. So it's not even like buffalo
that sounds
wings.
I know
kinda
one
good.
thing. These pictures better look good. Because
Yeah, yeah.
if, if once they show these pictures to match these names, I don't know.
They listed a bunch of names.
I don't know. I heard Five Guys. Oh,
Five Guys.
I it just sounds weird, but they gotta have some good pictures to make people want to go out
Yeah,
there and
yeah.
buy it.
Listen, I'm all for introducing stuff that tastes better than, some of their premium options they used to have were awful. They have a bunch of healthy things. I don't care, but they're adding more health food for the health conscious.
I don't come to a football game to eat a salad.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
Me
I
neither.
it's ridiculous. No, they can go ahead and dump the health food.
Well,
for
I
you.
mean, but
and
let's
if I
say someone's a
see you-
vegetarian. What if they had like just deep fried?
they need to eat a
tofu?
hot. I don't care if they need to eat a hot dog. You can break your rule.
Yeah.
And you can't go to a football game and not get some kind of meat product. It's against the rules.
I agree with
it's on
you,
the ticket.
but there are those people. The one thing they are doing that I like, just to wrap this up, more local beers. And if I had my way, every beer option at every stadium would be local. Because that's just how I roll. No,
Are you telling me you don't like the $9 Bud Lights?
no, I don't like anything with the word light in it.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to drink that, drink water or your own
might as
urine,
well.
because that's about the same thing. So they're going to have.
That's a whole nother show.
That's from my
it's a whole
Waterworld
nother thing.
podcast that I'm doing. Sorry.
Yeah. Forgot where you were for a second.
Yeah.
This is
So
the
they're going to
whole
have
time.
Devil's Backbone, Flying Dog, Dogfish Head, Star Hill, Dominion,
Nice.
and Atlas Brew Works are all
Oh,
going to be.
everyone's
And
everyone's
believe
girlfriend
us
loves
out there.
Star Hill.
Yeah.
Everyone's girlfriend. loves
Everybody
Star
out there
Hill.
needs to understand that Alex really knows his beer.
Oh, I get to
Yes.
talk to Alex.
Alex
about
is
does.
some stuff.
speaking from experience.
What do you need?
Well,
What do you need? I
about
got
to say,
you.
I've had IPA like for the first time when I went on a lunch. You know where Chop House is, right?
Yeah.
I go to.
Oh, I fucking love
I
Chop
love
House.
Chop House, my damn self. But I had IPA for the first time over there. I'm usually
Okay.
a Corona guy, but I know there's a whole bunch of IPAs that I need to start.
Mhm.
I need to start paying attention to. So that's all.
Sure.
I'll figure it out down the road. But
Alex,
I know who to talk to now.
Yeah. No,
Alex
we can
opens
talk.
his trench coat. He's got beers all in the inside of his coat. He's like,
Well,
what do you want, dude?
in my basement, I have a cabinet that I just store beer in year round. Like, it holds up to 200 bottles of beer. And because I like certain seasonal beers and I don't like
200
others, so I
bottles of
just
beer on the wall.
grab what I
I
like,
was
store
going to
them
do the
in
same
there,
thing,
and keep it.
Steve. Nice.
Yeah.
I was going there too.
Yeah.
Well, everybody who knows me knows, and those of you who have been with us a long time will understand what I mean when I say I'm a Sunkist person.
Yeah. Steve doesn't drink for his own reasons, and that's fine. It's just something I'm passionate about.
I do love my Sunkist. Though.
Yeah, you love your sodas.
I try not to drink it much because it's unhealthy,
Yeah.
so
I
I limit
quit.
my intake. But I enjoy
I
my
quit
soda.
juices and
I do my rule is I do
Yeah,
one per week and one on the weekend.
that's really
my
good.
rule.
I'm
Wow,
trying to
one
do that
soda
with
per
soda
week,
too.
yeah.
Just cut that out at lunches.
And you can't drink something worse than soda. It's the worst thing in the world
Right.
for you. It's
Just a
awful.
big cup of sugar.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
need to
Okay,
get it to get all tweaked
I don't think
up.
I don't
you know?
remember like outside of like beers and like if I go to a club I get like a Henny and Coke or something like that. But in terms of like drinking juice and sodas, like I cut that out like 3 years now, like 2 years. I only drink water,
Mm.
and it's hard because some of these things, all the
for
things
you.
that you look at, it just you just miss it all of a sudden when you see it. So hard,
Oh,
but
sure.
you got used to it now. But at the same time, it's
There's definitely an addiction factor with like Coke and certain sodas like that.
It's coffee for me. It's not even soda. It's
yeah.
coffee.
Well,
is
coffee,
my big
but coffee
addiction.
only has like 5 calories. Coffee's not bad for you.
But it's the caffeine.
Yeah.
You kind of get addicted to it over time, or you just need the freaking
yeah,
coffee. all day.
I get coffee. Once
But
a
anyways.
day during the weekdays
Oh,
when I'm at work.
I drink about 4 cups of coffee a
I
day.
can't do it, man. I mean,
see.
I understand why, but it's like I look at it from the fact that I know I'm probably cheap as hell, so I'm not about to keep going back to the store to buy some more coffee.
Nah.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
We'd like to thank you guys for joining the Hogsty Food and Drink Hour. A new show on the Hogsty Network.
Well, I could do a whole episode about things I'm cooking for the game.
I wish I
Yeah,
could
there you
say
go.
that.
Hey, if you listened all this way through, tell us what you're more addicted to. Are you more addicted to soda or coffee or beer? And if you answer and tweet us that answer, I'll give you a T-shirt. If you're listening
There you
all
go.
the way through to this minute right here on the Ox
And
you
then
get a
if
free
you
shirt.
say beer, we're also going to give you the number to the nearest AA.
Yeah.
Because that means if you're
These
an
are hilarious.
alcoholic.
Hold on. I'm gonna get on Twitter right now.
yeah. We'll give you a free T-shirt and help. So tweet at us what your biggest vice addiction is in life. We'll get you a free shirt.
There you go.
There you go. And I just
All right,
tweeted
well,
at us.
There you go. Well, we'll let you get.
Alex, you can't win. Alex, you can go buy your own.
He's already got shirts. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got plenty of shirts. All right. Well, we'll let you get back to your weekend. Thanks for being with us today on the Hogstide. We'll be back with you next week. See you then.
I didn't get to do my Dunkirk bit,
Cool.
but that's okay. Yeah, I saw it, but I was gonna say, hey guys, I saw Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.